Hey everybody, and welcome to the Spoilercast for Ant-Man and the Wasp, Marvel's 19th movie? 20th? I'm your host, Jack Macmillan. With me as always, 20. Sean Guy and not Felix Baker. And we got back Iona Francis. That's the new saying.
Are you going to say that the entire season?
Yeah. We also have Iona Francis and
Hi.
Michael van Berkel with us. And yeah. So, guys, what did you think of Ant-Man and the Wasp?
I think it's number 20, and it is the first film to have the female lead in the title.
Whoa.
I guess if that's
Yeah,
a thing we want to...
cool.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Oh, that's a good way.
Like, we're almost there, because it's not the header, it's the subheader.
Yeah.
So it's like we're almost there, then Miss Marvel will be
Captain Marvel,
Yeah.
her own thing.
Wow.
Most of the movie is pretty much basically just her, really. There's the whole plot. She's the one she's the character that goes through the most.
There's actually
Yeah.
there's a lot of cool female characters in it, actually. I mean, Michelle Pfeiffer is like one of the best.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
I mean, that's a Key and Peele
Sorry.
joke. That's a Key and Peele joke. I actually didn't mean to say it that time. I actually
I
fumbled
thought
the
you
word.
might have been doing it for a reference to
No,
something.
yeah. I mean, I'm sad that she wasn't in it more. Oh, by the way, spoiler cast, so we're just jumping right into things. If you haven't seen the movie, don't watch it. Yeah, she was really cool. And
She is
there was
cool.
the female villain, and then the Wasp. I guess if they do Ant-Man and the Wasp, the third one could just be Wasp.
Could be, but it won't be.
I honestly
Well,
loved
yeah.
about this film. It was coming from watching, because the film that just got released was Avengers: Infinity War, and then that was so miserable and just sad
The ending
and
was
heavy,
miserable. Yeah.
But it was great. But then coming into this film, it was just so lighthearted, and it brought me back to, oh, this is what Marvel's like.
Yeah.
And it was like really funny. And it was a really funny film. And they picked the FBI agent. He's been quite a few things. I don't know his
Walton
name.
Goggins?
Yeah.
I think that's his name.
Whatever his
and-
name is, yeah.
He was the bad guy in
No,
Tomb
Walt
Raider,
Goggins, the FBI agent. I can't remember his name, but.
Oh,
Walt
sorry,
Goggins was-
the Asian guy, Randall Park.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's his name.
He
Yeah.
was really funny, and it was just like them small things. He was like, and then it was like the magician act, and like how they just like kept repeating that like
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
but it was so subtle. It was just like a minor thing, but it just like gave you a little chuckle, and it was just really funny. He was like, "How did you do that?" And then like later on in the movie, he's just like, do you mind? And he's like learning the magician shit. It was
There
so funny.
So many weird sort of running jokes. It almost felt like an episode of Arrested Development. Like there was a lot of, I guess in the magician thing, it's
Yeah.
like Job like doing. It's like it felt very strange. What were you gonna say?
Also, I really liked the Russian guy. Just
Yeah.
that little joke. It was just like
The Baba Yaga.
Yeah, the Baba
Oh,
Yaga.
the Baba Yaga.
That was my favorite joke. And then he sees him in the office and he's like, like, he's just like singing the chant. Like he's absolutely petrified.
That was pretty funny.
But I think my favorite thing was Thanos is such a big Marvel villain. And this one actually didn't have a villain. If
It
you
really
think of
didn't.
It really didn't. Everyone came together
Walt
in the
Goggins
end.
was the villain, I'd say. The
Yeah.
black market arms dealer.
Yeah.
He
I
was-
guess yeah.
Yeah,
And the
and,
girl
like,
in
even though-
Ghost, I think is the
Ghost?
Ghost.
Yeah, but there was like an understanding to all of them, and he really was just like this really fantastic character placed in there where it was just like another thing on top, because Ghost wasn't a villain. They brought in him. I felt like they brought in him for like, but in a really good way, and he was really funny, but he also
Who you
did
talking
have
about?
his. This was the
Watch the cable there.
mob guy.
Oh, that Walter Goggins.
Yeah.
Well, see, I think he was. I don't know if I can class him as a villain any more than I could Randall Park. Like they were just sort of those elements that were in the world, I guess.
Yeah, it's not like
And same
that
with Ghost.
imposing. It's not like that. Like it's like not such an imposing force. It's just
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
obstacles. I
They
suppose.
weren't like antagonists. They were just obstacles. And
Yeah.
same like Ghost was like she was the antagonist for the film, but it's hard to call her a villain because it was more like she wasn't at loggerheads with the good guys. She just kind of had.
A bad experience.
I don't know,
as
yeah.
well.
I feel like Ant-Man, like I really like the first Ant-Man, and I think because I just find it so fun and funny,
Yeah.
and I just
fun,
watch
yeah.
that movie with a smile on my face. But I sort of, it's like oddly polarizing, I think, because a lot of people just kind of brush over it because it is quite throwaway. But I think that's kind of why I like it, is that it can sort of do stuff that isn't super consequential to the overall universe. So they're kind of
I like
their own
that.
sort of standalone ones, and it's not like the end goal of the villain isn't like, I'm going to destroy the world. Like, it's like a small thing. So it's not like these ridiculous
It's like
stakes.
Spider-Man, I thought.
Yeah, it's like more... Yeah, it is. It's more
it
grounded
grounds the
in...
entire universe because it's like not every villain is trying to destroy the world. Some of them are just trying to like get rich or something.
It's more like personal, I suppose. Yeah.
Like,
And-
first Iron Man, Captain
Yeah.
America, Winter Soldier, like just not trying to rule the world, but like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, and it is like, it's like character focused, I think. And I really like a lot of the characters. Like, I like, obviously, Paul Rudd's there. I love Michael Douglas's.
Yeah.
And he's just so dry. And like,
He's good.
Eventually, Lily's really great. And obviously, like, the standout is like Luis, like Michael Pena.
Yeah,
like, as
he's a
Luis.
fan
Oh,
favorite.
And I mean-
he was amazing.
He's
I
always
mean,
funny.
So this one, I don't know if I necessarily think it's better, but I think it's just so fun. Like, this one was
Yeah.
just so much fun.
I
And
think-
you're just like, from the get-go, you're just like, oh, like,
You're
and the
like,
music and
yay.
everything, and like, but I think the things with Ant-Man come back with this one is that it is sort of throwaway. And I think like a lot of people, like forgettable almost, or like inconsequential, because it doesn't really have to do with...
Well, I'd like to see
everything.
Goliath come back because I like that. He's a
Actor.
big character in the comics, and I like Lawrence Fishburne. Yeah,
Yeah, and
and Ghost as well. I'm sure
Yeah.
will come back.
the thing I loved how she shifted between. I liked how they did that. And
It looked cool.
I loved
Like it was
her
like-
suit.
Yeah.
Oh, her suit was awesome. It was so quirky and just like really unique.
I
And
loved
it's
her
just-
actually. I thought she was cool.
Yeah.
So
and
what's some stuff that you guys sort of like then? Like, what did you...
liked. Yeah, come back to me. Sorry, I just got a thing.
Oh, so what were you about to say before?
Just I completely lost it. What was I trying to thought?
You got to jump
I was
in.
like,
I think, yeah.
thinking about it.
Sorry.
Thinking about it. As soon as you asked me,
I put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. Yeah.
no, but the one thing I really would have loved to have seen was her voice. They would have played around with her voice a little bit with how she was like shifting between matters, and her whole body is being torn apart every second,
Yeah.
and then being re-stitched together. Why? shouldn't
She's
her
British,
voice?
isn't she?
Yeah.
I loved
And-
her voice. I agree with what
but,
you're saying
I would
about
have loved to
changing
have
the.
seen just like a little bit more creativity
I see what you
in
mean,
that
yeah,
aspect,
yeah.
but
I didn't
it
even
was
think of that.
still a good character, and she played it really
She
well
did,
too.
yeah.
It reminded me of... It's like Scott Pilgrim, I think, which is funny because it's Edgar Wright, which isn't this, but it's like in that vein. It's the bad guy, Gideon Graves. It's like at the end, and he's like kind of glitching.
Yeah.
And he's like, because he's about to be destroyed. And there's like a part where he's like, oh, I did this. And like, there's like 1 second glitch of like, he's like screaming, but it's not part of his monologue. Like they would have just filmed it. Like they sort of cut it in.
Yeah.
And I guess I would have liked more than stuff like her. Like she's kind of like say it's like she's like kind of keeping it together. Like I'm dying. And then like one of the frames is her just like screaming out, or like something like more.
That could have
I
been.
guess it could have
They
been more
did-
chaotic, but the way they did it, it was more like time based. Like her hand
Yeah.
went to the door, but the door hadn't opened yet, kind of thing. Like it was like it was very like.
You saw her hand go to the door like 3 times.
Yeah.
and I was just kind of a bit disappointed they didn't really go all that because it's such an interesting like having someone go shift and glitch out. Like they didn't have like clones of her duplicate and doing a whole bunch of different stuff, or like have a long line of her and then like coming up to the punch or something. It's just
Yeah.
they're just
That could have been either really cool or
Yeah, like
just
she
really,
leaves like imprints of herself, so that they like touch her, and then their hand goes through her or something like that, and then
Yeah.
she comes up behind.
Well,
Yeah.
and also like having like just like she can like duplicate herself and have different images and just like be able to fight clones and
like
stuff.
almost
like
like alternate times. Yeah.
I guess I found her a bit melodramatic. I think like a lot of times she's I don't know. Her performance was a bit like odd, but I kind of like the relationship with her and Bill. Is it Bill Foster, the Goliath?
I think Bill Foster.
Like
yeah.
the way he was like, I'm going to help you, and then she's like, he's got a daughter, and then he was like, if you lay one hand on that daughter, we are through. And I kind of like that. I just like that kind of that morality.
It really
aspect
set
of it,
a
yeah.
tone for the film and understanding that no one really is a villain in this except the mob guy.
no one really dies in the whole movie too.
Oh, that was another thing too, and I really liked there was just like that was really it. Like that was the only thing was, and it wasn't even a bad thing. Was I just wanted them to just kind of explore more ghosts, like and how she could like. You know, like they could have explored it just like a little bit more. But that was the only thing. And I loved the scene when they go into the school and he has the jumper on.
It was a little bit
And then-
Deadpool, wasn't it?
It was better than Deadpool though.
Like, but he walks in, and then he's like in the
teacher's
corridor,
like, yeah,
and he's like,
"Oh, you," and then he's like, and he just runs
and
away.
he starts running, and he's just like, oh yeah, right.
And when he
'Cause
couldn't
teachers
reach
do
the-
that.
And all the short jokes,
But,
like,
yeah.
like he's like, "Scott, you want a juice bar?" like the way they played with scale in this film was just so fun and so visual. Like, and I know people like get mad because it's like they talk about the density and they're just like, "Nah, fuck that." Like, it's like the density's
Yeah.
there when the plot
Yeah.
needs it, but otherwise they just have fun with it, and it's just so cool. Like, it was just like car chases. But to the next level, like they just like we've seen a million car chases, but they still felt unique in this film. Like when Wasp leans out of the car and she like shoots the motorcycle guy, and it shrinks his bike and he like flips and falls over. I'm like, that's so fucking cool. And the little car, and he has the Hot Wheels thing. And
So was there anything that leads me to a point I wanted to make? Was there anything you guys didn't like? Because I'll throw it out there straight away. They showed too much in the trailer, I thought. That was one of the things.
I never watched.
But then that's
the
not really
trailer.
a fault of the film.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Full credit to the film.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot. But going into there knowing that the building was going to shrink and the cars were going to like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It
But I
always
think-
ruins it a little
I
bit.
know. I feel like
Like
they
the moment-
needed to sell that because I was
Yeah.
kind of like, Ant-Man and the Wasp. I was like, do we really need that? And then you watch that first show, you're like, fuck yeah, I'm in. Like,
Yeah.
let's go. Like,
With that car scene, I remember watching it the first time, and I thought like it was okay, but like remember the climactic scene and the first Ant-Man movie, they're like falling from an aeroplane inside a suitcase, and they're in a toy set. It's like there's all these different stuff happening with different sizes, just being them shrunk. And
That
then you
was
get,
cool,
and then you get to Ant-Man, and it's just pretty much kind of a run the mill kind of like car chase, except they just shrink and it's just and and I found like it didn't really go as much, but when I watched it the second time, I was like, yeah, it's good for what it is. It's like really amazing.
Yeah, I think it's like I can't really think of anything that I disliked. I just think it's not like it's just like it's like good, like really good, like really great. Like it's not like amazing, like nothing like really blew me away, sort of thing. You just have a good time.
Yeah, you just have
Yeah,
fun.
it's just a very fun film to watch, especially. And what made it even more fun for me was just coming out of the last Marvel film where everyone dies and then like everyone like turns to dust and then
That was my favourite part about this film at the end.
yeah okay,
I had
so
shivers.
that was
Shivers.
That moment.
It's like, whoa.
yeah, that was because I didn't think anything of it until Jack said halfway through. He's like, "Everyone's gonna turn to dust at the end." And
Did you say
oh
that?
wait,
Was
was it
me.
you?
That
It was
was
you.
me.
And I was just like,
Cool, dude.
and he was like, and I was just like, no.
I
Oh
was
my
just
god, that's
waiting
right.
for
We're in
it.
a
I
Marvel
was just
film.
waiting. I was like, they're gonna die.
I wasn't sure. I thought it would have been really interesting if just like halfway through the film, shit, like people just start disappearing, kind of thing.
Although-
like if that was the threat, like she's like Ghost is like I'm gonna kill, and then they're like, huh, I guess we don't have to. And then they, like I just thought it would have been really brave, but like obviously they're not
You
gonna
couldn't
do
do
that.
it.
They couldn't do that, but that would have been so.
And
I think
cool.
what they did was perfect.
Yeah.
But I sort of saw it coming, but I was still like, whoa. 'Cause
Yeah.
you never know.
Yeah. So I'm like,
Yeah,
he's stuck
because
in-
he's stuck
quantum-
in the quantum realm.
Yeah.
So, but we now know that he's going to be okay in the quantum realm.
I did love
because,
the
because Hope's mum was in there for 30 years,
Hmm.
and but yeah, so like that's okay. That gives it kind of a bit of a leeway into the Avengers. It's going to be an interesting story.
One of my biggest gripes with the movie is that it's got, especially watching it the second time, it's got a lot of plot holes. That I was like,
Oh really?
like with Lauren Fishburne's character, right? He's supposed to be in league with the Ghost, but yet he tells Hank Pym how to track the suitcase down to help them track him down and to break in and then
I noticed
eventually
that the
get
second
caught.
time
But it's
I
like,
watched
how
Not
did
much
he
of
know
a
that?
reason for that, is there?
I guess I guess
I
because maybe his plan was because wasn't their plan to get Janet back, like to use her powers to heal.
yeah.
Well, they didn't quite know it. I guess
don't
that,
think they knew
a lot
that.
of it was
They
quite
did quite a
convenient.
lot,
I guess
yeah.
like that. I guess maybe it's like a.
I
gripe.
still
It's
don't really
like,
get Janet
like,
Van Dyne's
she's like
powers.
somehow survived, and she's like this like wanderer, and people thought it was a sword. It's not a sword. It's her wings, just in the shape.
Yeah,
And I was like,
got
she's like
that
a
the
nomad
second time
of
I
the
watched
quantum
it.
realm.
Just like-
And then
And the powers thing, though.
yeah,
I
she's just
don't-
like it was kind of like
I
is it
think
Deus Ex Machina? I suppose she
Very,
just kind of
yeah.
like she's like I want your power. She's like let me heal you, and then she's like all right, now we're all friends. Like
And-
yeah.
with how cool the Wasp, I've probably missed it, but like with how cool like when she's in the quantum realm with the hood and everything, I'm thinking, Where'd you get that hood from? Because
yeah. Okay, there's
literally
a
what
good
I
argument.
was
I guess I would have
thinking
liked to see more of the quantum realm explored, like how she was surviving and all that. 'Cause
There must be like a whole world in there, like a
yeah.
As
She must
a
have eaten
big
something, or-
Pet peeve. I was like, when I saw this film, she like unloosed the hood, and I'm like, how the fuck for 30 years have you been able to keep that makeup on? And I was like, her makeup looked so nice, and I was just like, how 30 years it'd be draping all down. I was like, it would be nothing.
No, it's Michelle Pfeiffer. She will always look good.
Oh, I know,
Well,
and it was just like, I was like,
I
30
guess-
years and your makeup is like that flawless. I was like,
I thought they would play with, because they talk about when you go into the quantum realm how like time doesn't matter, doesn't exist. So
time
I guess
and space and your mind sort of gets
all the
twisted and
all the
turns.
theories was like she hasn't aged like a day. I thought like she would still be young, and then
Oh,
like
I see.
Hope would be older than her now or something like that. But they didn't do that. They just were
I
like,
thought they were
nope,
gonna,
she
like-
just aged normally.
I thought they were going to do
Yeah.
it like she imprinted on the father.
Yeah.
She imprint like similar to what she did with
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man. Like she imprinted, so it's like there's
Yeah.
two like sort of personalities in the one person because they were talking about how the mind and the body kind of like separate when you're in the quantum realm.
That scene where she takes over Paul Rudd, like God bless Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
He did that so well. When he's like, "I'm so proud of you," and he's like holding Michael Douglas's hand, and like he's so good. It's so funny and silly. Yeah, and then he's like, "I'm so proud of you," and then like later he's like, "How'd we get here?" Like there was so many funny little throwaway jokes in that movie.
Yeah, there
like,
was.
like. Where he's like, he has the visions, and he's like, she was hiding in a wardrobe. No, they were like, was she in a wardrobe? He's like, no, it was like a big drawer. And then they were like, that's a wardrobe. He's like, oh. Like, it's like so stupid. Or like, where she's like, I hid in the wardrobe every time we played hide and seek. He's like, I don't think you understand how hide and seek works. Like, it's so good.
I thought that too, though. When she said it, I was like, that's stupid.
can we please talk about the greatest scene?
Yeah.
The truth serum.
Yes, my God. I guessed that. I was like, when they brought it up, I was like, he's going to tell them. I was getting like giddy. I was like, he's going to tell them everything. I was like, are they going to do it? And then like, they give it to him, and then you just hear that little, like, the little drum beat, and you're like, yes! And then he's like, Scotty and I, we meet up, and like, for the first day. I honestly wanted that scene to go longer.
Yes.
I was hoping he was
yeah.
going to explain the entire cinematic universe or something like that. I would have loved that scene to be like 10 minutes long.
I wanted him to do the whole Marvel.
Yeah,
thing.
like he's like, so there's this guy, Mr. Stock, right? He like got captured, and like it just, and then like even the two other guys are like, you just need to let him talk. Like we can't. What does he say? He's like a jukebox. You gotta let him play. You put a quarter in him. Now you gotta hear the whole song. Fuck.
I would
love
watch
how-
that.
So
I
good.
love so much how he was like, because we're going broke, and they were like, what? And he was like, shit, wasn't supposed to tell you. And he's like, I'm trying to be a good boss. And he like could, and the way he talks,
I know.
it's so amazing. It's so fast, and you just understand it all.
He's
and
just such
He's a
funny-
funny
clever.
guy.
And
Yeah.
he's like
funny
not
guy.
even like a comic guy. He's just like this character they invented that's just become like such
Yeah.
a great character.
It was the best scene in the whole thing, and it was honestly, it was
It's
so
fun.
well.
I want to go see it again now.
Yeah.
Like, I
It's-
just want
it's
to
a
see
good
that
time.
again. And
Yeah.
it was just like, even the people that are interrogating him are like, well, they're like, he was like, yeah, I know where he is. Like, I was talking about his, like, where he is emotionally. And he was like, where is he? Literally. And then it was like, cut away. And I was like, damn it, keep going.
You know what that scene made me think of? It's who's the one that can't lie in Shrek?
Pinocchio.
Pinocchio.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. He's like,
Yeah.
well, you know, and everything else is happening, and then and he's like talking, and they're all just like.
I can't remember what
"Where
they
is he?"
ask him, but he's like,
Yeah.
well, it's not that he isn't where he should be, but he is where he isn't. It's like, it goes on for like
Yeah.
3 minutes.
It is quite similar to that, yeah. Oh man, I would have loved, because it was cool to see that style where it's Louise talking, but Paul Rudd and Imogen have to act it out, like the way he talks.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like, they're
yeah.
like, it's like, nah, you hurt my feelings. I'm not taking you back. It would have been cool to see like if they had like another Avenger cameo doing, like if they got Chris Evans to do that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like,
Would it be
like a sassy
so out
cameo.
of like sync if it was Michael Pena doing like the voiceover from the beginning, talking about how Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer? 'Cause
Yeah.
that would just be Michael. It would just be Michael, just Pena, just doing it, talking about it.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
It was pretty cool, and even it was like, I think one of the things I really liked was because, like the lead up to like Civil War and Avengers: Infinity War, everyone was like, "Oh, these characters are so quippy," and it's like hard to differentiate them. And I think they really did a good job. But the thing that separates Ant-Man is he's the only kind of one that's like a dad,
Yeah.
Well-
and I love that they honed in on that. Like the opening scene is him and his daughter playing the game
That was
together.
cute.
She's so good. That
She
little
is
actress,
good.
and
She was
she's like growing up now because the first one she like doesn't have any teeth from memory. Like
Yeah.
and like now and like they just have a good rapport, and it's like the mom and the dad, like it's all about being. I mean, the whole thing is about family. Like
Yeah.
like the daughter and getting the wife back and stuff like that. And it's I don't know. There was a lot of sweet like scenes. I thought like in the opening where she's saying goodbye to Hope, and then she like has to go subatomic to save
I am
everyone.
the exact opposite.
Oh.
I hated the family scenes and the little kid.
Oh really?
I
Really?
absolutely hated it because the kid, because it's just like, it's just there to really humanize it to.
You think it's like too forced, kind of? Or?
It's a cheap trick.
Oh.
Like
I'm
it's just
right
it's just
in the
there.
middle
It's
of you
just
two because I love the little girl, but I think the guy is it Bobby Cannavale and Judy Greer. I think their roles are
They're
just
no, I agree with that. They're completely sort of throwaway characters. Like
Yeah.
that. Like, I'm surprised they even brought them back if they were just going to
Same,
have in that
yeah.
small scene. But I think with the daughter and stuff like that, I think it just like, I mean,
I think it is.
But that-
It is kind of a cheap trick, but
but
because they don't do it in
it's-
any of the other films, it's like
I think
well,
that's what
I
makes
think
it
they
unique.
can
It's
get
like
away with
it's like a storytelling device. It is to
'Cause-
humanize him, and it's like it's like he's a thief, but he's like a good dad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah,
like
but-
I mean,
yeah.
because Hawkeye is also
Oh,
the
yeah.
other one in the Marvel.
He's
thing.
not
Hawkeye-
a leading.
But the
like
thing
a-
is,
Yeah.
they don't. He doesn't. It's such a secret, though. It's like he has his Avenger life and then his family life, and they're so separated, and you learn about that too. But it's but with this one, it's Ant-Man being. It's all about family for him, and he just kind of does this Avenger stuff as like a side gig thing. But I feel like Hawkeye, it's like the other way around, and that like it's just like I don't know. I feel like there's just like a little bit more of the softness, and you see that family aspect more.
I think it's
in
just good to
Ant-Man.
mix it up because
And I
all the other
really like
Avengers,
that.
like it's all just like I need to save my
Yeah.
girlfriend. I need to save the
Yeah,
hot
like
chick.
it's like a
Yeah.
stupid love interest or whatever. Whereas this,
This
is
is
like I
like-
mean,
Well,
I
Guardians-
guess-
damsel in
Guardians
distress
of the-
trope
Guardians
has
of the
been used
Galaxy.
for the last 800 years.
Guardians of the Galaxy is very family oriented, especially the
Yeah.
second one.
Yeah.
So different because it's not kids, but
And-
I agree.
yeah, I like
do
the sort
agree.
of, that's
why I
what they
can't
tried to
like
do
it.
because
Different 'cause
Avengers
he's
they
the
were
planet.
it was a very like
Yeah.
like what's the line in Civil War? It's like he's my friend, and he's like so was I. Like
Right.
Avengers is more like we're friends,
Yeah.
whereas for Guardians they tried to make that more about family. It's interesting you brought up Hawkeye. I thought he was going to make a cameo in this movie because he clearly wasn't in Avengers.
Oh no, I didn't.
I thought
think
he was going to be in a
to.
post-credit sequence or something like that.
I would have loved him to be, I think. I don't know if they would have made it work or not. But someone, I think it was you said that to me, and I was like, I had not considered that until you said
No,
it.
I thought he was going to
did,
be like in the
but
post-credit sequence,
Yeah.
but I think they'll keep that later.
I thought about it, and I thought it would be either, but I was like, no, I really just want it to be just like an Ant-Man film, and like but also to remind everyone, and that this is what's happening now. You've had your fun. This
Yeah.
is what's happening, and you realize as well he wasn't a part of the Avengers because he was on house arrest. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. I kind of like that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but with that the kind of when the end credit sequence when they turn to ash, it's just like, so you guys didn't see the huge spaceship come into the different city and like terrorize everything.
Well,
and, like,
that was in New York. They were in San Francisco.
What, they don't have
still
TV?
yeah.
Also true. I don't know.
They're like
It's-
listening to
I'm
the
sorry.
radio
You
on
make
the
a
way
point.
to the top of the building to set up the quantum generator thing,
Yeah,
and they're
they
just
turn
like,
their cell
"Oh,
phones off."
you guys are hearing this on the radio? No, just change the channel. It'll be over by the time we're done here."
like I mean, but I think for a post-credit scene like that, that's all they could have done.
Yeah, yeah.
Was
It was a
just
great
such a small
post-credit
little
scene.
thing.
It was. I think like what makes it great is also like what doesn't make it great is that the fact it is so kind of standalone and not
Yeah.
like because Avengers it's like raising the stakes, and in this film it's like in the grand scheme of like the MCU it doesn't really matter. I mean
It doesn't
maybe-
change much.
Yeah, it doesn't change anything. I guess like there's no
It's
ripple
just
effects,
set up.
but that's
Set up.
I think why I like it because it is just like a fun bite-sized like
Yeah.
side dish I
Yeah,
suppose.
yeah.
But yeah, I think we should maybe wrap up unless anyone has
Yeah,
anything,
I
anything
like
left to
that.
add.
Well, I like.
pretty
yeah,
pretty
sorry.
much.
I'm gonna mute you. I know.
Pretty when you're talking about like how like people love the movie and then you get that and then you're just like I love this and no well I hate it even more. I'm that right now.
Oh,
I
it's
noticed
like-
that you were leaning the other way now.
I'm like it just reminded me of how the
Michael
reason
watched it like 2 hours ago. He loves it secretly.
We'll have to get you to do your Marvel rankings, Michael.
Yeah.
I was about to like say it just reminded me of the reason why I could have took a break from Marvel like watching the Marvel movies because it was very vanilla and very like
Yeah.
by the books, and I was kind of a bit bored throughout watching. It was like nothing really like
That's what I was saying.
like in the
There's-
plot,
yeah.
nothing really like spoke out like really popped.
Phase
in my-
2 is a bit like that. They're all just kind of, I
and-
think.
You want? What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I think it was just so nice to watch a film that didn't make me cry. Like
I don't think it's in anyone's top 5 for the Marvel films,
Oh,
but
I
I
would-
think just
no.
to summarize, you gotta watch it. It's
Yeah.
part of the
Yeah.
universe.
It's just fun. It's
It's
just a lot
fun.
of good fun. You're gonna have a good time.
I think if you
Oh,
think
it's
of it
fun.
any
Yeah, it's
more
fun.
than a fun film, then I think that
Yeah.
defeats the purpose of the film.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Cool. Well, let's end there, guys. That was our review or spoilercast for Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, awesome.
enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank
What's
you.
the next Marvel? Miss Marvel. See you next year for Miss Marvel. Bye, guys.
See ya.